beginning to show some streaks of light over in the east there behind our mountain. You know, the morning star always gets wonderful bright the minute before it has to go, doesn't it? Well, I better show you how our town lies. Up here is Main Street. Way back there is the railway station. Tracks go that way. Polish Town is across the tracks and Canuck Town. Powdertown too. Hear it? Makes blankets, Cartwrights on it, and brung 'em a fortune.
Now, children, I won't have it. Breakfast is just as good as any other meal, and I won't have you gobbling like wolves. It'll stunt your growth. That's the fact. Put away your book, Wally.
Oh, Mom, I said I've got to know all about Canada.
Well, you know the rule as well as I do. There's no books at table. As for me, I'd rather have my children healthy than bright.
I'm both, Mama. You know I am. I'm the brightest girl in school for my age. I have a
Corners, let me see. Grover's Corners lies on the old Pleistocene granite of the Appalachian Range. They say it's some of the oldest land in the world. We're proud of that. A shelf of Devonian basalt crosses it with vestiges of Mesozoic shale and some sandstone outcroppings, but all that's recent, 200, 300 million years old. Recently, some very interesting fossils have been found. I may say unique fossils, 2 miles out of town in Silas Peckham's cow pasture. They can be seen at the museum at our university at any time, that is, at any reasonable time. Perhaps I should read some of Professor Gruber's notes on the meteorological situation, mean
I'm
precipitation.
afraid we won't have time for that, Professor. We might have a few words on the history of man here.
Yes. Anthropological data. Early Amerindian stock. Cotahatchee tribes. No evidence before the 10th century of this era. Now entirely disappeared. Possible traces in 3 families. Migration toward the end of the 17th century of English brachiocephalic blue-eyed stock, for the most part. Since then, some Slav and Mediterranean stock has moved to
And the population, Professor.
within the town limits, 2,640.
Ah, just a minute, Professor.
Yes, indeed. The population, at the moment, 2,642. The postal district brings in 507 more,
Well, thank you very much.
making a total of 3,149.
Thank you very much.
Mortality and birth rates constant. By McPherson's gauge, 6.032.
Thank you very much, Professor. We're all very much obliged to you, I'm sure. Thank you.
Oh,
Please,
madam.
this way, Professor. Ah, well, and now the political and social report by Editor Webb. Editor Webb.
Oh, he'll be here in a minute. He just cut his hand while he was eating an apple.
Thank you.
Charles, everybody's waiting!
Mr. Webb is the editor and publisher of the Grover's Corner Sentinel. That's our local paper, you know. Oh, Editor Webb.
Well, I don't have to tell you that we're run here by a board of selectmen. All males vote at the age of 21. Females vote indirect. We're lower middle class. A sprinkling of professional. A 10% illiterate laborers. Politically, we're 86% Republican, 6% Democrat, 4% Socialist, the rest indifferent. Religiously, we're 85% Protestant, 12% Catholic, the rest indifferent.
Have you any comment, Editor Webb?
Very ordinary town, if you ask me. A little better behaved than most, probably a lot duller. But our young people seem to like it well enough. 90% of them graduating from high school settle down right here to live, even when they've been away to college.
Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to ask Editor Webb anything about the town?
Is there much drinking in Grover's Corner?
Well, ma'am, I don't know what you would call much. Saturday nights the farmhands meet down in Eleanor Greenhill's stable and holler some. And we've got 1 or 2 town drunks. But they're always having remorses every time an evangelist comes to town. No, ma'am. I'd say liquor ain't a regular thing in the home here, except in the medicine chest. Right good first aid by you.
What more will you? Where we could all hear you? What were you saying?
Do you think anyone is aware of the social injustices or the industrial inequality of this town?
Oh, yes. Everybody is. It's something terrible. Seems like they spend most of their time talking about who's rich and who's poor.
Why don't they just do something about it?
Well, I don't know. I guess we're all hunting, like everybody else, for a way the diligent and sensible can rise to the top, and the lazy and quarrelsome can sink to the bottom. But it ain't easy to find. Meanwhile, we do all we can for those that can't help themselves, and for those that can, we leave alone. Are there any other questions?
Mr. Webb, Mr. Webb, is there any culture or love of beauty in Grover's Corners?
No, ma'am, there ain't much. Not in the sense that you mean. Come to think of it, there's a couple of girls that play the piano at high school commencement, but they ain't much happy about it. No, ma'am, there isn't much culture. But maybe this is the place to tell you that we've got a lot of pleasures of the kind here. We like the sun coming up over the mountain in the morning, and we all notice a great deal about the birds. We pay a lot of attention to them. And we watch the change of seasons. Yes, everybody knows about them. But those other things, you're right, ma'am, there ain't much. Robinson Crusoe in the Bible, and Handel's Largo, and Whistler's Mother, but that's just about as far as we go.
So I thought. Well, thank you, Mr. Webb.
Thank you, Mr. Webb.
Well, now we'll go back to the town. It's early afternoon, all 2,642. They've had their dinner and all the dishes have been washed. There's an early afternoon calm that comes to our town. A buzzing and a humming coming from the school building. Only a few buggies on Main Street, horses dozing through the kitchen posts. Doc Gibbs in his office tapping people, making their say off. And Editor Webb over there, mowing his lawn. You know, one man in 10 thinks it's a privilege to push his own lawnmower.
No, she didn't say that. I can't, Lois. I've got to go home and help my mother. I promised.
Emily, walk simply. Who do you think you are today?
Papa, you're terrible. One minute you tell me to stand up straight, and the next minute you call me names. I just don't listen to you.
Golly, never got a kiss from such a great lady before.
Oh, excuse me, Mrs. Forrest.
Well, brilliant move, young man. You have no business being wasteful on Main Street.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Forrest. Hello, Emily.
Hello.
That was a fine speech you made in class today.
Well, I was really ready to make a speech about the Monroe Doctrine, but at the last minute, Miss Corcoran made me talk about the Louisiana Purchase instead. I worked an awful long time on most of them.
Gee, it's funny, Emily. From my window out there, I can just see your headbacks when you're doing homework over in your room.
Why can't you?
You certainly stick to it. I don't see how you sit still so long. I guess you like school.
I figure it's something you have to go through.
Yeah.
I don't mind it, really. Passes the time.
Yeah. What do you think, Emily? We might work a kind of telegraph from your window to mine. And once in a while, you can give me a hint or two about those algebra problems. Oh, I don't mean the answers, Emily. Of course not. Maybe just a little hint.
Well, I think hints are allowed. So, if you get stuck, George, you whistle to me, and I'll give you some hints.
You're just naturally right, I guess.
I figure that's just the way a person's born.
Yeah, but I'm going to be a farmer on my Uncle Luke's farm. You know what he says? When I'm ready, I can come work on his farm. And if I'm any good, I can just gradually have it.
You mean a house and everything?
Yeah. Well, thanks a lot for the talk, Emily. I better get back to the baseball field. Good afternoon, Mrs. Webb.
Good afternoon.
Oh, so long, Emily.
Come on, George.
Emily, come and help me string these beans for the winter. George Gibbs let himself have a real conversation, didn't he? Like he's growing up. How old would George be?
I don't know.
Let's see. He must be almost 16.
Mama, I made a speech in class today. I was very good.
You must recite it to your father at supper. What was it about?
The Louisiana Purchase. It was like silk off a spool. I'm going to make speeches all my life. Mama, are these big enough?
sound like a tired clock.
Now, look here, everybody. Music, come into the world to give pleasure. Softer, softer. Get it out of your heads that music is only good when it's loud. You leave the loudness to the vents. You couldn't be, even if you wanted. Now again. Dinners.
Emily.
Hello.
Hello.
I can't work at all tonight. The moonlight's so terrible.
Did you get the answer to the third problem?
Which?
The third.
Why, yes, George, that's the easiest of them all.
I just don't see it. How about one of those hints?
I'll tell you one thing. The answer is in yard.
Yards. How do you mean?
In square yard.
Square yard.
Yes, George, don't you see?
Yeah.
In square yards of wallpaper.
Wallpaper! Square yards of wallpaper. Oh, yeah. Thanks a lot, Emily.
You're welcome. My, isn't the moonlight terrible? And choir practice going on. I think you can hold your breath. You can hear the train all the way to Contica. Hear it?
Hey, what do you know?
Well, I guess I better go back and try to work.
Good night, Emily. Oh, thanks.
Good night, George.
Before I forget, how many of you will be able to come in on Tuesday afternoon and sing at Fred Hersey's wedding? Show your hands. That'll be fine. That'll be right nice. We'll do the same music that we did for Jane Trowbridge's last month. Now we'll do Art Thou Weary, Art Thou Lame. It's a question. Ladies and gentlemen, if you talk, ready.
Oh, George, would you come down here?
Yes, Paul?
Make yourself comfortable, George. I won't keep you but a minute. George, how old are you?
16, almost 17.
What do you want to do when school's over?
Paul, you know I'm going to be a farmer on Uncle Luke's farm.
You'll be willing, will you, to get up early, milk and feed the stock, and hoe and hay all day?
Sure I will, Paul. What do you mean, Paul?
Well, George, I was in my office today, and I heard a funny sound. What do you suppose it was? It was your mother chopping wood. There you see her, getting up early, fixing meals all day long, hoeing, ironing, washing your clothes, and then she has to go out in the backyard and chop wood. Suppose she just got tired of asking, just gave up, decided it was easier to do it herself. And you eat her meals, wear the clothes she keeps nice for you. You go outside and play baseball like she's some hired girl we keep around the house, but that we don't like very much. Well, I knew all I had to do was bring your attention to it. Here's a handkerchief, son. George, I've decided to increase your spending money 25 cents a week. Not, of course, for you helping your mother chop wood because that's a present you give her. But because you're getting older, and I reckon there's lots of things you can find to do.
Paul.
Let's see, tomorrow's your payday. You can count on it. Suppose Rebecca will think she ought to have some more too. What's keeping you, Mother? Why, her practice was never as late as this before.
Oh, Pa, it's only 8:30.
I don't know why she's in that choir anyway. She has many more voice than an old crow. Pacing around the streets this time of night. It's about time you retired, don't you think?
Yes, Paul.
Good night, Martha. Good night, Mr. Foster.
I'll tell Mr. Webb I know he'll want to put it in the paper.
My babe. Well, good night, Irma.
Real nice choir practice, wasn't it?
Myrtle Webb, would you look at that moon? Ooh, potato weather for sure. Naturally, I didn't want to say a word about it in front of those others, but now that we're alone, really, it's the worst scandal that ever was in this town. What? Simon Stimson! Oh, now, Luella. Julia, to have the church organist drink and drunk year after year? Well, you know he was drunk tonight.
Now, Luella, we all know about Mr. Stinson, and we all know the trouble he's been through, and Dr. Ferguson knows it too. And if Dr. Ferguson keeps him on his job, the only thing the rest of us can do is just not to notice it.
Not to notice it, but it's getting worse.
No, it isn't Luella, it's getting sick. I have been in that choir twice as long as you have, and it doesn't happen anybody so often. My, how I hate to go to bed on a night like this. I better hurry. Those children will be sitting up till all hours. Good night, Luella.
Good night, Myrtle.
You get home safely, Luella.
It's his brightest day. I can see Mr. Stone scowling at the window now. You'd think we'd been to a dance the way the men folk carry on. Good night,
Well, we had a real nice time.
You're late enough.
Well, it's not any later than usual, Frank.
You standing on the corner gossiping with a lot of him.
Frank, don't be so frantic. Come on out and smell the evening smoke in the moonlight. So what'd you do all the time I was away?
I read as usual. The girls gossiping about tonight.
Well, believe me, Frank, there is something to gossip about.
Simon Stimson, far gone, was he?
Worst I've ever seen him. Now, how will that end, Frank? Dr. Ferguson can't forgive him forever.
I reckon I know more about Simon Stimson's affairs than anybody in this town. Some folks just ain't made for small town life. I don't know how it'll end. Just have to leave it alone. Come on, let's get in.
Oh, no, not yet. Frank, I'm worried about you.
What are you worried about?
Well, I think it's my duty to make plans for you to get a real rest and change. And if I get that legacy, I'm just going to insist upon it.
Now, Julia, there's no sense talking about that.
Oh, Frank, you're just being unreasonable.
Come on, let's get in. It's getting late. You'll catch a cold. I gave George a piece of my mind tonight. I reckon you'll have your wood chop for a while anyway. Come on, now, let's get upstairs.
Oh, dear, see, there's always something to pick up. You know, Frank, Mrs. Fairchild locks her front door every night. All the people of that part of town do.
Ah, they're just getting cityfied. It's the trouble. They ain't got nothing worth burgling, and everybody knows it.
Rebecca, get out of here. There's only room for one at this window. You spoiled everything.
Well, let me look just a minute.
Use your own window.
I did. But there's no moon there. George, do you know what I think? Do you? I think the moon's getting nearer and nearer, and there's going to
evening, Mr. Webb.
Oh, good evening, Bill. Quite a moon.
Yep.
Oh, what tonight?
Well, Simon Stimson roaming around a little. I just saw his wife moving out to hunt for him, so I looked the other way. There he is now.
Good evening, Simon. Town seems to have settled down for the night pretty well. maybe it'll clear up for good.
Well, good morning, Howie. Do you think it's going to rain again?
Good morning, Mrs. Gibbs. No, it rained so heavy, I think maybe it'll clear up.
Oh, I certainly hope it will.
Now, what did you want today?
Well, I'm going to have a house full of relations, Howie. It looks to me like I'll need 3 of milk, 2 of cream.
Oh, Mrs. Gibbs, my wife told me to tell you that we both hope they'll be very happy together. Well, we know they will be.
Thanks a lot, Howie. Now, you tell your wife I hope she gets there to the wedding.
Oh, she'll be there. She'll be there if she can.
Oh, good morning, Mr. Newsom.
Good morning, Mrs. Webb.
I told you 4:40, but I hope you can spare me enough.
Yes, and the two agree.
Will it start raining again, Mr. Newsom?
Oh, I was just saying to Mrs. Gibbs that I think it just might lighten up. Oh, Mrs. Webb, Mrs. Newsom told me to tell you that we hope they'll both be very happy together. We know they will.
Thank you. And thank you, Mrs. Newsom. And we're counting on seeing you at the wedding?
We hope to get there. We wouldn't want to miss that. Come on, Missy.
Well, Ma, the day has come. You're losing one of your chips.
Don't you say another word, Frank Gibbs. I feel like crying every minute. You just sit down and drink your coffee.
Well, the groom's upstairs shaving himself, only there ain't a lot to shave. Singing and whistling like he's glad to leave us. Every now and then he looks in the mirror and says, I do. Sounds too convincing to me.
To be fair, Frank, I don't know how he'll get along. You know, I've arranged things and seen that he's put warm clothes on. Oh, they're just too young, Frank. Emily won't think of such things. Oh, he'll catch his death at cold little freak.
I just remembered my wedding morning, Julia.
Oh, don't you start that, Frank Gibbs.
I was as scared as young fellow in the state of New Hampshire. Thought I'd make a mistake for sure. Then I saw you coming down the aisle. You were the prettiest girl I've ever seen. The only trouble was I'd never seen you. There I was in the Congregational Church, and a total stranger.
Maybe I felt, oh, weddings are perfectly awful things, Frank. Farces, that's what they are. Here, made you something.
Why, Julia Hershey, French toast?
It ain't hard to make, and I had to do something.
How'd you sleep last night, Julia?
I heard a lot of the hours struck off.
Yes, I get a shock every time I think of George setting out to be a family man. That great gangly thing. I tell you, Julia, there's nothing more terrifying than a son. The relation of a father and a son, it's the darkest. Awful.
Oh, mother and daughter's no picnic, let me tell you.
Well, they'll have their share of troubles, I suppose, but that's none of our business. Everybody's entitled to their own troubles.
Yeah. People are meant to go through life to take natural food.
Julia, you know, one of the things I was scared of when I married you?
Go along with you, Frank.
I was afraid we wouldn't have material enough for conversation lasts more than a few weeks. I thought we'd run out. Eat our meals in silence. That's a fact. Well, we've been conversing now for almost 20 years with hardly a bear and stuff.
Good weather, bad weather, take your choice, but I always find something to say.
No. Now, have you heard Rebecca stirring around?
No. Only day of the year, she's not up there managing everybody's business. She's hiding in a room. I got the feeling she's crying.
Oh, good Lord, this has got to stop. Rebecca! Rebecca, you come down.
Morning, everybody. Only 5 more hours to live.
What sort of things were you going?
Oh, I'm just stepping across the grass to see my girl.
No, George, you put on your overshoes. It is raining torrents out there. You do not go out of this house without you're prepared for it.
Oh, Ma, it's only a step.
You will catch your cold, and you will cough all through the service.
George, do what your mother tells you.
No, from tomorrow on, you may kill yourself in all kinds of
You mean Emily's asleep?
Well, no wonder. We were up till all hours sewing and packing. All right, I'll tell you what I'll do. You sit down here a minute with Mr. Webb and drink this cup of coffee. I'll go upstairs to see she doesn't come down and surprise you. There's some bacon, too. But don't be long about it.
Well, George, how are you?
Well, fine. Fine. Mr. Webb, what purpose could there be behind a superstition like that?
Well, you see, George, on a wedding morning, the girls' heads have to be full of clothes and one thing or another. Don't you think that's probably it?
Yes, I never thought of it like that.
You know, girls have to be a mite nervous on her wedding day, George.
I just wish a fella could get married without all this marching up and down.
You know, every man that's ever lived has felt that way about it, George, but it hadn't been of any use. It's the women folk who built up weddings, my boy. For a while now, women have it all their own. You know, a man looks pretty small at a wedding, George. All those good women standing shoulder to shoulder, making sure the knot's tied in a mighty public way.
But you do believe in it, don't you, Mr. Webb?
Oh, yes. Don't misunderstand me, my boy. Marriage is a wonderful, wonderful thing. Don't forget that.
Oh, no, Mr. Webb. Mr. Webb, how old were you when you got married?
Well, you see, I've been off to college, and taking a little time to get settled. Mrs. Webb, she wasn't much older what Emily is now, George. Oh, age had much to do with it, not compared with other things.
What were you going to say, Mr. Webb?
I don't know. Was I going to say something, George? George, I was thinking the other night, some advice that my father gave me. Charles, he said, Charles, start out early showing who the boss is, he said. Best thing to do is just give an order, even if it doesn't make sense. Anything about your wife irritates you, no conversation or anything, you just get up and leave the house. Now, that'll make it clear to her, you see. And oh yes, he said, never let your wife know how much money you have. Never.
Mr. Webb, I really don't think
So I took the opposite of my father's advice. And, I've been happy ever since. Let that be a lesson to you, George. Never ask advice on personal matters. You gonna raise chickens on your farm, George?
What?
Are you gonna raise chickens on your farm?
I don't think Uncle Luke's giving me much
A
thought.
book came into my office the other day on the philo system of raising chickens. I want you to read it. I'm thinking beginning in the small way in the backyard.
Charles, I thought you two would be talking about things worthwhile, not that old incubator of yours.
Well, Myrtle, if you want to give the boy some good advice, I'll be happy to go upstairs and leave you alone with him.
George, Emily's got to come downstairs and eat breakfast. Sends you hello, but she doesn't want to lay eyes on you.
Goodbye, Mr. Webb.
Goodbye, George.
liked it too, Emily.
Thank you.
Emily, why are you mad at me?
I'm not mad at you.
You've been treating me so funny lately.
Well, since you asked me, I might as well say it right out. George, goodbye, Miss Corcoran.
Oh, goodbye, Mrs. Corcoran. What is it?
I don't like the whole change that's come over you in the last year. I'm sorry if that hurts your feelings, but I've got to tell the truth and shame the devil.
A change? What do you mean?
Well, up to a year ago, I used to like you a lot. And I used to watch you as you did everything, because we've been friends so long. And then you began spending all your time at baseball. You never stopped to speak to anybody anymore, not even your own family you didn't. And George, it's a fact. You've got awful conceited and stuck up, and all the girls say so. They may not say so to your face, but that's what they say about you behind your back. And it hurts me to hear them say it. But I've got to agree with them a little. I'm sorry if that hurts your feelings, but I can't be sorry I said it.
I'm glad you said it, Emily. Gosh, I never thought such a thing was happening to me. I guess it's hard for a fella not to have his faults creeping through his character.
Well, I always expect a man to be perfect, and I think he should be.
Oh, I don't think it's possible to be perfect.
Well, my father is, and as far as I can see, your father is. There's no reason on earth why you shouldn't be too.
Well, I feel it's the other way around, Emily. That men aren't naturally good. The girls are.
Well, you might as well know right now that I'm not perfect. It's not as easy for a girl to be perfect as a man, because we girls are more nervous.
Emily?
Now I'm sorry I said all that about you. I don't know what made me say it.
Emily?
I can see it's not the truth at all, and I suddenly feel that it isn't important anyway.
Would you important conversation we've been having, huh?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, wait a minute. That won't get home. Mr. Morgan, I'm gonna have to run home and get some money to pay for this.
Why, George Gibb, you mean to tell me that
I've got reasons, Mr. Morgan. Here, hold my gold watch. I'll be back in 5 minutes.
That's all right. I trust you. Keep your watch, George.
Thanks, Mr. Morgan. Only be gone a couple minutes.
Yeah, I'll trust you 10 years and not a day over, George Gibbs. Well, now we're ready for the wedding. There's a lot to be said about the wedding. There are a lot of thoughts that go on during the wedding. Naturally, we can't get them all into one wedding, and especially not a wedding here at Grover's Corners where they're awful plain and short. Now, in this wedding, I play the minister. Gives me the right to say a few more things about it. For a while now, I've played it pretty serious. You see, there's some churches that say that a wedding is a sacrament. I don't quite know what that means, but I can pretty much guess. It's like Mrs. Gibbs said a few minutes ago. People were made to live two by two. This is a good wedding. But even at a good wedding, people are so put together that there's a lot of confusion that goes on way down in people's minds. We thought that ought to be in the wedding, too. The real hero of the scene isn't on stage at all. You know who that is. It's like one of those European
Sam Craig.
Gracious sakes alive. Paul, I should have known you'd be attending the funeral. Been away a long time, Sam.
Yes, I've been gone 12 years. I've been business out in Buffalo, but I was back east when I heard about my cousin. I thought I'd combine things a bit and see the old one. You look well.
Yes, can't complain. Very sad, though, our journey today, Sam.
Yes.
Yes, I always say I hate to supervise when a young person's been taken. Now, they'll be here in a few minutes. I had to come here early today. My son's supervising back at the home.
That's old Farmer McCurdy. I used to do chores for him after school. He had the lumbago.
Yes. We brought Farmer McCarty here a number of years ago.
It's my Aunt Julia. I had forgotten that she... Of course.
Yes. Doc Gibbs lost his wife 2-3 years ago, about this time. And today it has a pretty bad blow for him as well.
That's my sister Carrie's son, Sam Craig.
He's uncomfortable. Do they choose their own verses much, Joe?
Not usual. Mostly the bereaved pick a verse.
That does not sound like Aunt Julia. Not very many of these Hershey sisters left. I was wondering. Joe, I was looking for my father and mother's graves.
Over by the Craigs, Avenue F.
He was the organist at the church. Used to drink a lot, he said.
Yes. Nobody was supposed to know. He'd seen a peck of trouble. Took his own life, you know.
Oh, did he?
Hung himself in the attic. They tried to hush it up, but of course it got out. He wrote his own epitaph. You can see it right there. It ain't exactly a verse.
It's nothing but some musical notes. What is it?
I wouldn't know. But it was wrote up in the Boston paper at the time.
Joe, what did she die of? My cousin?
Oh, you didn't know? Well, she'd seen a bit of trouble bringing a child into the world. It was her second, though. There's a little boy about 4 years old.
The grave's going to be over there?
Yes. There's not a lot of room here among the Gibbses. So they're going to build a whole new Gibbs section over by Avenue B. I see they're coming now. You'll excuse me.
Mrs. Julia, my daughter-in-law, Emily Cobb. Well, I declare, the road up here must have been awful muddy.
knew